Creamer Media's Mining Weekly is interviewing Johan Odendaal, the CEO of Southern Palladium, a platinum group metals mining company listed on the ASX in Sydney and the JSE in Johannesburg. Hi, Johan, it's great to chat to you. What are the latest developments at your Bengwenyama Platinum Group Metals project on the eastern limb of our great Bushveld igneous complex?
This year has certainly been a significant year for us in terms of a project and our developments. And as you rightly said, we listed on the 8th of June. And specifically with that listing, we aim to raise 19 million Australian dollars. And we were twice oversubscribed with that listing, which was fantastic for us. And with the 19 million Australian dollars, we specifically wanted to do a number of things, and that was to upgrade the resource and do a feasibility study, and finally do a mining right application. The intention was also that 70% of that 19 million Australian dollars would go into the ground. So that was a great start for us. We went on further and we signed an agreement, and that's a term sheet with the Bengwenyama community. Of course, that is the community that reside on the land. And that basically governs our relationship with the community in terms of prospecting and what we're doing on the ground. So that was also a great achievement. We started our drilling in August of this year, and currently we have 5 drill rigs on the ground, and that is also now picking up momentum. Overall, we drilled in the order of just above 4,000, about 4,200 meters to date.
You were going to do the concept study in parallel with the drilling. What are the early indications of your pre-feas and concept study?
The concept study or scoping study, as we know it in Australia as well, we will make an announcement early in January specifically on that. But I think, and I mean, there's been various reports by analysts, and I refer you specifically to Chris Baker's report that's also on our website, that gives an indication of what can be expected of this project. So in terms of a scoping study, we will make that final announcement in January, and then of course we will proceed with the feasibility study, specifically the pre-feasibility study. We're currently just getting all the approvals to go ahead with that.
Palladium heavy and rhodium heavy prill splits generally go hand in hand with the upper group 2 reef of the eastern limb. What do your initial assay results say about the UG2 reef?
We have, of course, the 2 reefs on the project, typical of the Bushveld complex, the Merensky reef, and also the UG2 reef. And, you know, the Merensky reef outcrops on the property, sort of, if you look at the 2 properties, we've got the Eerste Geluk farm and the Nooitverwacht farm, and it outcrops on the Eerste Geluk farm, which is sort of on the eastern side. Our UG2 just outcrops on the farm. Now, we in our prospectus announced a inferred resource, and that was JORC compliant, of 18.8 million ounces. And in particular on the UG2, we announced a 7.7 grams per ton over 71 centimeters. And our initial drilling that we started was specifically in the area towards the east of the farms, where we just intersected the UG2, and that's for a specific reason, as I said, because the Merensky outcrop a bit further west. Now the results for us was first, I think, quite significant in terms of 2 things. The one was to confirm the grades, and secondly, to confirm those prill splits, because we are in sort of a sweet spot on on the eastern limb of the Bushveld. And initially, we announced a pearl split of 44 platinum, 44 palladium, 10% rhodium, and the rest gold. And in the first place, our pearl split came out exactly what we expected. And that's so unique of this Bushveld complex, is that is, in the near vicinity, quite consistent in terms of pearl split, quite consistent in terms of grades. So in terms of a pearl split of 44 platinum, 45% palladium, spot on what we expected. In terms of our grades, slightly higher in terms of what we expected currently. We reported for the 3 bore rolls that we assayed 8.73 grams per ton over a 77 centimeter width, which was again very much in line with our expectations. But I think what is also more important for us is, if we look at where our initial inferred resource has been delineated, which was sort of the northern part of the farm Eerste Geluk, extending into the west into Nooit Verwacht. We now specifically drilled 2 bore holes into the southeastern part, and which is still in our exploration target area. And in both of those drill holes, firstly, we intersected UG2, which was great, because that confirms now the reef in that area. And secondly, in terms of grade as well, we reported grades very much in line with our expectations. As a matter of fact, if you look at the Bushveld grades, grades are reported at a specific grams per ton over specific centimeters. And it's always good to convert these to centimeter grams per ton. And the average, Bushveld UG2 centimeter gram per ton in that area is ranged between 600 to 700 centimeter grams per ton. And in this one specific bore hole that we drilled in that southeastern part of Eerste Geluk, we recorded a 800 centimeter grams per ton grade, which is fantastic for us.
That sounds very good. And is chrome not expected to emerge here as a viable co-product?
Martin, we are in a UG2, it's a chromatite reef, and we are eagerly awaiting the 6. It's basically what we tested for as well now, and those results will be announced fairly soon. Is basically all the 6 PGMs plus gold, nickel, copper, and chrome. And we specifically tested for the chrome in the UG2. Of course, if we look at PGM mines in the Bushveld complex nowadays, all of them produce chrome as a byproduct. And so we're eagerly waiting those results, which will be announced soon. And in there, of course, we tested for chrome.
And how much capital has been expended by yourselves to date? And what are the estimates of capital that will be needed in the future?
We raised 19 million Australian dollars, about 13 million Australian dollars. We said we earmarked for the exploration project, which is about 70% of that. And that 13 million in today's rand terms is about 150, 160 million rands that we earmarked for the exploration. Currently, to date, we spent in the order about 15 million rands on the exploration. And when I say the 15 million, that's specifically now the capital that went into the ground.
And how would you rate South Africa as an investment destination so far?
Martin, that's a very interesting question, and I'll tell you why. If we look in particular at the South African PGM industry, and we look what we have in South Africa. In general, the barriers to entry into the platinum industry is quite high. If you look at sort of downstream beneficiation, then you normally what you find on site is typically mining plus your concentrator. And then what happens, you normally sell on the concentrate to one of the bigger producers, who of course put it through a smelting process, and then base metal refinery and precious metals refinery. And in particular, I think, as an investment destination, in particular for platinum, that is where I believe South Africa is quite attractive. We've got an established infrastructure in South Africa. We've got the whole downstream beneficiation established in South Africa for us, and for all the juniors on the eastern limb. Once you produce a concentrate, it basically takes you half a day, and that concentrate lands up in Rustenburg at the smelters. And it's something that we forget, that we still, despite our problems in terms of electricity and so forth, still have established infrastructure in South Africa. Also, if you look at, and again refer to our environment in the platinum industry, if you go to Steelpoort and you look at what we have there, we're surrounded by mining operations. So the mining method, the processing method is well established, is proven technology. If we look at skills, it's a mining community that we're developing into. So all that, I think, makes it quite attractive still to look at the industry in South Africa.
That was Creamer Media's Mining Weekly, speaking to Johan Odendaal, the CEO of Southern Palladium.